Welcome, everyone. In today's interview, we have Derek Tan with us. By introduction, Derek Tan is a co founder of Viddsee, a tech and media startup that leverages data and community to produce and market premium short content. Derek have 20 plus years of experience in the space of media and technology. Welcome, Derek, to our show today.
Hi, Komal. Thanks so much. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you're most welcome because I was going through your social media and the thing which you are trying to do is very much innovative. And then I thought let's take your interview and let's deep dive into it. I'm sure my readers, my viewership would be interesting session for them this also, and would love to know more about you, your company, and they will have a lot of takeaways from today's session.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Looking forward to this.
Awesome. So, Derek, I just mentioned I was going through your company's profile, your
Mm,
profile. So, just wanted to know more about it. Let's kick off with Vidsee's origin story.
mm,
Can you share what motivated you to build this platform and what vision drives you forward?
yeah. I think we've always seen, storytellers, filmmakers as really storytellers for the community,
Yeah.
represents the community. And I think stories are really, really powerful. I think both in the media sector as well as the marketing sector, simply because of its impact and its effect on audiences. So being audience first, I think it's very critical and crucial, I think, for a lot of businesses today. And stories are human nature, to be very wired to stories, since the caveman days, we're drawing pictures on in caves, going around a fire, telling stories, cautionary tales with one another. And I think where we are with technology evolving and shifting as well, the fundamental, I think, belief in stories is still the same. With today's popular medium, social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, etc. They are using videos, they are using stories to engage audiences. So I think that is something that we've always seen at the beginning of the company. And I think we wanted to leverage on that. So Viddsee was really built as a creator platform with a mission to empower storytellers. I think number one, we've wanted to empower storytellers to share their stories out to audiences. Number two, finding ways, I think, as a creator platform to monetize their talents, their work. And I think we do that through branded content. And I think finally, it's also the ambitions to grow, creators, storytellers, their careers through the ideas that they have. How do you build kind of like the next big Squid Game, for storytellers? I think that's something that we've always been looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, Derek, it's very true because we have gone through a lot of surveys, and what we have got to know is right now the readers, the viewership, are cannot read lengthy right till the end, the article, right? Right. So they are just curious to know about what real thing is happening, and they just want to slide, the stories, and the influencer right now are too much into Facebook, TikTok, because everyone wants to see video, right?
Yes.
Everyone wants to see the real life, the real person who is talking about it, because then it feels the connection with the viewership. And yeah, stories are the great medium to get the viewership. So, and Derek, since it's a startup, and
Mm,
as a startup, you bumps in the road which are expected, which are unexpected. So,
mm.
could you share an early challenge you encountered and how you outsmarted it?
Yeah, I think one of our early challenges has always also been how do we drive more value to creators, as a creator platform. And I think in the early days, we were working a lot on curating content, sharing stories to audiences. You don't get to make a lot of money out of that. And I think it's how do you drive more value, more monetization opportunities to creators. I think we saw that as a challenge, but also an opportunity. And I think we then looked at how do we shift ourselves from curation
Mm.
to creation. And that opportunity kind of like allowed us to start Viddsee Studios. That was fairly early days, but I think what was interesting was an opportunity to tap on a diverse network of talent, skills, and ideas to really kind of expand, I think, the services and the the skill sets of the storytellers to actually help clients at the end of the day to tell stories, be it a marketer or an entertainment platform. I think outsmarting that was very interesting because we then created this ability, and it's a certain USP where we're tapping on a diverse pool of
Mm.
storyteller network. And I think in today's day and age of DI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity, it's a really interesting space for us to leverage kind of like this network, to just adapt to different cultures in this country. I think especially when you're working with quite diverse talents, clients, and diverse kind of like ideas and messages across the region. So I think we landed ourselves on something interesting, and I think we've been since then working on using that as a certain core strength in telling stories.
Yeah, so I'm sure it would be a very, you are just telling it very, uh, it was very easy and all that. I'm sure it would be very much, bumps, pros and cons would be there, from curation to creation and to distribution. I know it's a tough journey. It's a very long journey. So I'm
It's
sure
10
you
years. It's 10 years of journey, but yes.
Yeah, true, true. And I'm sure you have outsmarted it very much, intellectually and smartly. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so you were going through a lot of challenges from creation to curation and all that stuff. So your first step towards the world
Mm.
domination started with a Facebook page, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sure I'm also very interested to know about it. So can you spill the beans on the on this growth story?
Yeah, the Facebook page was interesting. I think when we were starting out, this book by Eric Rice, Lean Startup, and I think we were using our Facebook page as an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. I think the idea there was to get something out and shipped out to the public as fast as possible. So page, you just click a few buttons and then boom, you're live, you're public. So it was really an MVP for us to validate that our stories have impact, audiences. I think early days as well, we would tell stories, we would create stories, we would screen our films in more, traditional cinema settings, right? You look around and you're like, hey, there's not a lot of people watching the films, but on screen it's something amazing that you're watching. And I think with the advent of technology and digital, we're able to put that out across the audiences. So I think that was that validation that we wanted tested. I think very quickly we got this short film called Gift, made here in Singapore. It just blew up and it traveled and it reached 500 million globally
Wow.
worldwide. Yeah, and I
Okay.
have I had stories of like, kid in Brazil writing to us and say, oh, it's a really interesting story. I've gone on Wikipedia to find out more about Singapore.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so we've seen kind of like how stories can impact the world
Yeah.
at large. And I think that was a bit of that growth mechanism that we were using on this digital, proliferation of platform standpoint. And what I mentioned just now, I think then we tap on that to go from curation to creation. And thus, I think we were able to work with our expensive kind of like network of storytellers, to produce even more original and branded content. More recently, I think from a growth standpoint, we started to tap on this original content and also the curated content of the platform. We've launched Viddsee Labs. It's actually an IP incubator where we're turning short films into drama series. And that allowed us also to go beyond our Viddsee own platforms, to platforms like broadcasters. So in Singapore, working with our national broadcast platform, MediaCorp, to turn a short film into a drama series. And subsequently, that drama series lands on Netflix, where it can go, across regionally as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it allows us, I think, to again follow the ambition of what we're trying to do with our creators as a creator platform, to really kind of grow their careers, to really see their stories, go global. And I think to date, right now, with the growth, with us tapping on the different channels and platforms, with over 1 million subs, on our YouTube channel, we've grown our TikTok by 100,000 subscribers in a year. Reaching over 40 million total reach, in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines. So I think that's kind of like that ability that I think we can use stories to just impact lives and just reach people lah, across the world.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure, Derek, after taking this first step, which you have taken through Facebook and it got hit and
Yes.
TikTok and everything. So your pivot to a mobile optimized site was
Mm,
due to increased mobile traffic, right? You just mentioned. So
mm.
was this a eureka moment for or more than of a strategic move?
I think from day one we know that Southeast Asia, where we're working in, right,
Yeah,
is a mobile first,
yeah,
region.
yeah,
And I think we've always had the thinking of mobile as a distribution and as a very interesting platform for us to engage and interact with audiences.
yeah.
Especially when you're consuming content, it's vertical, it's an arm's length, it's a lean forward experience. I think we are leveraging a lot of this mobile ecosystem to kind of like drive our content. If you look at our logo, it's a screen inside
With a
a
comment.
speech. Yeah, it's a comment, it's a speech bubble, right? So I
Yeah,
think mobile experiences gives you that intimacy. It gives you kind of like the ability to have a conversation with anyone around the world.
yeah,
And I think we always thought about that as a strategic move right at the beginning
yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of like to leverage stories and conversation in this
yeah.
mobile ecosystem to see content travel. And I think here in Southeast Asia, where you have one of the top countries, for social media platforms,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
I think with stories, you naturally will see it kind of like travel and fly lah. So yes.
Yeah, true, Derek. So, you are talking about a lot of stories, platforms. So there might be a lot of engagement,
Mm,
happening on the platform. So can you please shed some light on your plans, to drive user engagement and traffic? Is it
mm,
something we should buckle up for our
yeah.
audience?
Yeah. So again, going back to mobile, I think one observation that we're seeing is vertical storytelling
Yeah,
and is giving us like way higher engagement. I think the idea of vertical storytelling, and we're experimenting and engaging with it right now. I think it's a term that no one's using as well. So
yeah.
we're,
I've
coin-
also
we're
heard for the
coining
first time.
we're coining it here first time.
Yeah,
But I think with vertical storytelling, right, the visual language changes. You punch in on emotions and scenes. You have that intimacy with the characters, with the personalities that you're interacting with and you're seeing on screen. It's also interesting, I think, with the platforms like TikTok or the TikTokification of other platforms. You move from this idea of a social graph,
yeah,
where you're consuming content of what your friends like to watch, to an interest graph where you are finally watching what you are interested to watch.
yeah,
And I think that allows us to also explore new formats like infotainment, edutainment, really kind of gravitating you to a certain point of interest that you may or may not know you like. And I think this ecosystem is a really interesting kind of space for us to grow that engagement, be it through comments, conversations, but also the ability to drive further action. So one of my favorite lines I like to use is building empathy, driving action. And I think stories are a great way to build empathy. You relate to the characters, you
yeah,
relate to the moments. Um, but stories fundamentally drive action, right? It drive purchase intent. It drives you to shift your perception. It drives you to move you to do things, to buy things, right? I think hashtag TikTok make me buy it. Uh, and I think what we're trying to create as well is a bit of a content led or content first approach to driving activations as well. Be it through marketing campaigns where we're creating content, but through the activation of the community, you see actions kind of like drive forward. The other thing that we're doing as well also is looking at for good. So Viddsee for good is something where stories comes in, build empathy around a certain social cause, a certain social message, but then building content marketing campaigns and partnering with community partners, to drive action further, be it donation, be it volunteering, or really just changing kind of like the advocacy and mindset that you have. Lah. So Yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're doing with engagement around
Yeah.
audiences.
Yeah, correct. So, Derek, you just mentioned like, you're working with marketing campaigns, collaborations. So,
Mm,
it's kind you have hinted, at monetization plans like
yes.
pay-per-view and
Mm,
collaborations. So, are we
mm.
looking at the dawn of new era of Viddsee? Can you share more about it?
Yeah. So I think the way we're looking at monetization is really, this new thing that we're looking at, Viddsee for business. I think it stems a lot from that idea of curation to creation again. So Viddsee Studios is an entity that's driving a lot of the commercialization opportunities. But I think at the heart of it, if we go back to the mission of empowering storytellers, that engine of monetization, that business for the Viddsee for business, it all goes back to the community of creators. So to date, right now, we've paid over USD 10 million, to creators across the region. Uh,
Mhm.
as we drive sustenance of the company, we're also driving kind of like that, sustenance for our creators as well. Also, so Viddsee Studios for brands, it's one way where we're going out working with marketeers to tell stories, create content marketing that goes on the platform. But it taps on the creators to come in and tell those stories. Viddsee Studios for entertainment, we're going in, what I mentioned with Viddsee Labs, working with creators to turn their ideas into bigger drama series, right? Bigger content, and working with our partners to share some of this data, share some of this insight, to sharing that content to the audiences. Uh, we're thinking a lot about scaling that. So something that we've built up is the Viddsee Talent Hub. Again, tapping on the creator network and allowing, I think, ourselves to create more diverse formats to tap on kind of like opportunities. And again, all that goes back to the creators.
Yeah, Derek. So, you just mentioned that a lot of diverse platform are there, tools are there. So, what I believe is YouTube has been the giant in the
Mm,
market, right? So, how
mm.
does Viddsee make its mark and stay in the game?
Yeah, definitely have to acknowledge. I think today YouTube is definitely one of the bigger creator platforms in the space. And I think we owe a lot to YouTube ourselves. With a channel with over a million subs on YouTube. Um, so I think we're in a space where we need to know where our audiences are at. Again, in Southeast Asia, you know, platforms like YouTube, TikTok, they are big.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're coming in directly to compete with these giants. I think we're necessarily going in actually to collaborate, for
Yeah.
opportunities in the sense, where ourselves as a creator platform with a certain niche, I think with the storytellers that we work with, I think creates that ability and partnership with some of these bigger platforms to see how our storytellers
Yeah.
can actually have their stories and their content and their presence on the platform as well
Yeah.
also. Uh, and I think again going back to the clients, we are then able to share that diverse type of stories that we're telling. We may not all be influencers, but we are creators and storytellers. And I think we have our own formats and our way of engaging audiences. So with platforms like YouTube, I think being able to show this range of content and capabilities that we have as well also. So yeah, at the end of the day, I see YouTube as a great
Great.
partner to
Yeah.
work with. Yeah.
True. So you just have hinted, you would be collaborating, partnering with YouTube. So where do you see Viddsee in, 5 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think as a creator platform, we're definitely finding new forms of ways to help again the creators find audiences to
Yeah.
monetize the content, and also platforms like Netflix, Amazon, to find ways to grow IPs
Yeah.
outside of the Viddsee kind of like own ecosystem. So we're definitely constantly evolving to find new ways to with TikTok because growing in the past 1 2 years, right? It itself is a new opportunity where we come in and we term like vertical storytelling. Uh, I don't know what's to come. But I think the core DNA of what we do to empower storytellers, I think it's always there. I think with new platforms that come and go, I think we do recognize how to adapt to this new technology, to this new strategies, and with that change, I think we're able to come in and help bring our creators on board this journey, and of course, working hand in hand with like our clients, right, to build kind of like this sustainable ecosystem for
Yeah.
creators together.
Sure, Derek. So we just mentioned a lot of tools, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, a lot of stuff. So tech evolves. We all
Yes.
agree, right? Preferences change. So how do you plan to keep with in sync with these
Mm,
shifts? Yeah.
yeah. The two major, I think, computing evolution that's happening right now, Web3, AI. So I think we kind of like, miss this two,
Yeah.
you know, giant, development. I think with Web3, the idea of decentralization is interesting because day one, again, we are thinking a lot about the decentralization, working with, creators and empowering kind of like, their abilities to tell stories. We've launched Candy, our Web3 take to, building an entertainment ecosystem. We are working on projects at the moment right now, looking at NFT, bring that into, entertainment space, eventually turning it into a drama series. In the AI side of things, what I think is really interesting is how we're using AI today, even as of now, audience analytics, you know, being able to drive better recommendation for our audiences, but also the ability to have better insights for ourselves to tell better stories to our audiences and for our clients. AI being used, I think, in post production processes, AI being used for translation, so that we are able to bring stories out to a larger group of audiences. Not just in Southeast Asia but worldwide. Again, impacting lives with the stories that we have. So yes, I think with these two big kind of like computing evolution, I think we definitely looking at it and trying to see how we fit. But there are things that we're doing at the moment right
Yeah, Derek. So all these things you mentioned, like evolution is there. So there might be a lot of challenges in front of you. So how do you plan to overcome with all these challenges?
now. Yeah. So I think adopting that mindset, and I'm a big learner. Like that's one of my personal trait, right? I think the ability and to do, measure and learn, I think is important. When you look at what we did at the beginning with the Facebook page, it was just a
Yeah.
matter of do, measure, figure it out, iterate and grow along the way. So I think that's something that I think to overcome that challenge, I think that's something that we're looking at lah. Yeah, in terms of embracing kind of like this attitude towards being adaptive and just learning.
Yeah, I think you follow the positive attitude. Whatever comes, it will be done, right? In positive sense. So, Derek, with our viewership, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, young
Mm.
entrepreneurs, techpreneurs. They will be watching our show. So, as we wrap up, any words of wisdom for aspiring techpreneurs?
Yeah, I think a big lesson is really just going out and doing things. I think there's no excuse today, right? Technology has proliferated our ability to do things. I think for ourselves as storytellers, technology has proliferated production of content today, but it's also proliferated distribution. So it's allow us to go out there and do things that we previously may not have the chance to. So I think going back to what I talked about, embracing kind of like the attitude for learning, going out, doing things, measuring learning. I think that's one of my biggest advice. Because things will change out there. But I think if there's something that you're very passionate in and you have deep knowledge around, I think you're able to see the adaptations and the changes of technology with consumer behaviors. Um, I think being able to jump in, try things out, fail, learn, evolve from there. I think as entrepreneurs, we are geared a little that way, to kind of just jump in and find opportunities, and just do that. Just go and yeah.
Enjoy your life,
enjoy
whatever you're
enjoy the
doing. Yeah.
enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Yes.
Yeah, Derek. Thank you so much, Derek. It was so much learning from today's session. And you know what I feel after talking to you, after knowing your company in detail, you guys are so much passionate into distributing the stories and stories, right?
Yes.
In terms of any format, in terms of any tools, in terms of any
Mm.
technology. So stories is your take, and you're
Yeah. It
passionate about it. Yeah.
correct. It is what makes us. It is our human nature to love stories. So
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't change. Everything else in the world can change, but I think our love and our affinity to stories will always be there as humans. But I think we can change the way we present, stories, and hence, experimenting on the different formats and experimenting on the different things to get your stories out fundamentally to an audience.
True, Derek. So I think you are doing a lot of trials and hit and trials and error, and people are really loving it. That's why you are here. And
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. I really had a good time talking to you. I hope you also had a good time, in this
Yes.
chatting in this interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thanks to the readers as well.
Thank you so much, Derek. You have a good day.
Thank you.